Hey, it's Lily. I'm a former registered nurse, now MD. This video is going to give you some brutally honest personal statement tips. Everyone, it's Friday. It's my only day off this week, and I am spending it editing personal statements for people. Which is going to bring me to my whole point of this particular video. I'm about to give you some tough love. I'm about to give you some brutally honest feedback and tips for your personal statement writing. This is going to be applicable to you whether you are a pre-med applying to medical school, or a pre-nursing student applying to nursing school, or a medical student applying to residency. First of all, I have been on the admissions committee for medical school, and I've read a ton of personal statements. I have also edited plenty of personal statements, and I have personally won 5 different essay contests, including the White Coat Investor Scholarship, which is a nationwide essay contest. So I do feel like I have some good tips to provide. The first thing I'm going to tell you right off the bat is that you are saying way too much. The character limit for personal statements is not a suggestion. Most adcoms or admission committees don't want to read more than 1 page. They have thousands of applications to sift through, and I am not kidding when I tell you that you need to say less. If your personal statement is longer than 1 page single space, you need to cut it down. Cut the fluff, cut the filler words, use action phrases, stop with the passive voice, and cut all those unnecessary words that are just taking up space. Your reader should not be struggling to try to figure out what you're trying to say. I get so frustrated when I go through these paragraphs that are taking up so much space and basically saying nothing. Your reader should not be struggling to figure out what you're trying to say through your giant blocks of text. Be concise. Say less. This is a point that I harp on. It's a soapbox that I get on. People write too much. Cut it down. Another tip within that is if you have multiple themes in your personal essay, you need to choose one theme to go off of. My theme for my personal statement was my registered nurse to medicine journey. And I did my best not to cram in too many other themes. Like, I grew up in an impoverished background, but I wasn't going to cram that into my essay because your essay only has room for one theme. Don't force it. Say less. Okay, that's my big soapbox. I have more tips though. For the medical school admissions process, you're not just writing a personal statement, you're also answering the activities section. The activities section is a place where you can have a narrative description of your CV, basically. There is a prompt for these activities, and I need you to answer the prompt. I honestly don't know why this has to be said, but sometimes people don't read the actual prompt and they go off on a tangent about a patient interaction that doesn't answer the question whatsoever. Specifically for the medical school and residency applications, those activity sections are asking you how these experiences impacted you and how will it make you a better physician. Reflect on that and try to come up with a cohesive answer. Show us how it shaped you, what you learned from it, how you grew, how it changed your understanding of the healthcare field. Don't just give us the job description, because that doesn't actually tell us anything about you and how that position or experience shaped who you are. People will list like all of these tasks that job entailed without any information about how it impacted you as a person. The other thing that people get lost in these activities section is the patient interaction story. Whatever patient interaction really impacted you. That's interesting, but when it becomes too much about the patient, we're not learning anything about who you are. And speaking of you, why am I only hearing about who you are in like paragraph 4? You'd be shocked if you knew how many essays that I've read through, and it takes me several paragraphs to get into any information about the actual author of these essays. The first few paragraphs sometimes are about someone entirely different. Your sick grandmother, your cousin, your random patient. I'm not saying that these experiences with your family members or patients is not important, but this is your personal statement, not theirs. It's not a tribute. It's not a eulogy. Honestly, if I don't know why you want to become a physician or whatever specialty you want to apply to for residency, by the end of the first paragraph, you're going into the information way too late. We all love a good background story. Set that background story up and tie it right back to you. Now let's talk about editing. You should not pay someone to edit your personal statements. I actually do provide personal statement editing. I charge a premium for it because, one, I think most pre-med writing is trash. I don't particularly enjoy combing through these essays and editing them. Writing is a skill that pre-meds overlook constantly, and I truly advise pre-meds to work on this skill as much as you can prior to going into medical school. I also value my time a lot, so I charge quite a premium for it. I don't recommend that you pay people to edit your essays. Go to your friends, go to your family, and especially go to your English department at your university. That's what I did. I was able to reach out to the English majors as well as the English professors, and they actually went through my essays and gave it a good look from a person who's not in healthcare, and I felt like I had received so much valuable information that I might not have received from friends or family because, sometimes friends and family don't want to be totally honest with you because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But I felt like I had received really great, valuable information from the English department. So I definitely recommend you reaching out to them. Typically, they don't charge you a premium for editing your essays. I was never charged for it, but I'm sure if they do charge, it would cost you a lot less than if you were just to pay a random person online to edit your essays. Try to get multiple opinions from a wide variety of people. I probably went through like 10 essay edits prior to submitting my actual medical school application. And be ready for honest feedback. I incorporated as much of the feedback that I received as possible. I feel like if someone is giving you some type of constructive feedback on your essay, you should definitely incorporate it into your essay. Because if one person has a critical view of one of your sentence structures or the length of your essay or how you structured some story, then there might be other people who see that and also have critical views of it. So make sure that if someone is giving you feedback, you take that feedback seriously. Pre-meds also do this thing where they criticize the US healthcare system. I get it, it's a flawed system. And yes, we know that there are major systemic problems, but sometimes I feel like you're acting like you're the person who's going to single-handedly come into this system and fix it, which makes you sound out of touch. Honestly, it's been overplayed and I'm a little bit tired of reading about that. It's overly critical and we're doing all the best that we can. We understand that there's flaws in the system, but it just doesn't read well when all you're doing in your essays and your activities section is listing all of the flaws of the medical system and acting like you're going to come in and fix it all yourself. Just be really careful when you criticize the healthcare system in the US in your essays because it can just come off not well. And kind of on a similar note, don't write about when you saw a doctor do something that you didn't agree with or that a doctor did something that you would never do. Your essay is not the time to throw other healthcare professionals under the bus, and don't include things that are actually admitting that you're abusing rules or not following rules. For example, don't say something like, I wasn't supposed to go shadow during the COVID pandemic, but I did it anyway. It doesn't make you look passionate, it actually just makes you look reckless, which is obviously not a great look for someone who's going into a profession that is based on ethics and responsibility. Another important point is, well, I should just preface by saying this might be controversial and ruffle some feathers out there. Do not center your essay around a chronic illness or a mental illness. I'm not saying that your experience is not valid or powerful, but the hard truth is you are not your illness. And unfortunately, medicine is an incredibly stressful career. If you're going to mention a personal health struggle, you need to be very careful on how you frame it. You basically are going to have to convince the reader who doesn't know anything about you that you can thrive in a high stress environment without raising concerns. And honestly, for most people, it's not worth the risk of being misunderstood. And I get it, it feels unfair, but that's just the truth. Sorry if that was super brutal. But when I'm sitting here editing these essays, I get so frustrated. I'm happy to do it because I want to help you all succeed, but you guys really need to focus on improving your writing skills. Also, when you use AI, all of your essays sound exactly the same. It's so boring to read. I guess the great thing about AI is it helps prevent people from raising red flags. Sometimes people include things in their personal statements that are a huge red flag, and I think AI has helped reduce the amount of red flags that are being submitted as personal statements, but otherwise, it doesn't help your personal statement or any of your essays stand out whatsoever. All right, that's my unfiltered advice. Say less, be concise, we need to know about you, be honest, but be strategic about your honesty and do your best to make your essay about you. All right, sorry if I hurt some people's feelings, but I'm really passionate about this. Let me know what you're struggling with the most with your personal statement writing. Like I said, I do offer personal statement editing, but I don't recommend that you pay for it. There are tons of people around you that will do it for free. If you don't know where to start with your RN to MD journey or your non-traditional clinical healthcare experience journey to medicine, I have written guides for you all. 300 nurses have already received my RN to MD guide, so I know it's helping people out there. I've been excited to find out several nurses have are starting their medical school journey this summer. All right, so that's personal statements. The end of this video is going to show you some of the clips that I recorded earlier this week, though I didn't do much recording this week because it's been very busy on wards. Starting tomorrow, it's actually going to go into my very last week of internal medicine wards forever, meaning I'll never have to do internal medicine wards ever again. So exciting. Good morning. It is Saturday and I am going in for a long call shift. This might be my last long call shift on a weekend, which is exciting, but also I'm a little bit sad and mourning the fact that I am going to be here for 13 hours today. I'm working with a new intern today. The other intern that I was working with only rotates for 2 weeks, so he is now off service and a new person is going to replace him. We typically also have a fourth year sub-I or a fourth year medical student who is basically doing their acting internship, and they're treated just like us as any other intern. So then it happens that we have 3 interns on the team, but this weekend we'll just have 2, and hopefully on Monday we'll have a new sub-I to replace her. I think we will be fully open for 5 admissions today. Hopefully we don't get all 5 because typically the admissions don't start rolling in until like 4 this afternoon. Even if I'm done with my work at 11 a.m., we don't get admissions till 4. And then we end up getting all 5 of our admissions pretty close in time frame, and we're just scrambling to try to finish up our work by like 8 p.m. It's not that efficient of a system, and sometimes I just wonder why things are set up the way they are. But nonetheless, we have a shift to get done, and I will talk to you all later. All right, it is 7:15, and I am done with my 12-hour long call shift. This was actually a pretty good day. Well, our day was very quiet with a capital Q, and it's funny because in medicine and healthcare, the Q word is a religiously bad word to say in the hospital. People will often glare at you and be very upset if you say the Q word. And my attending actually said that there was a study that was done where emergency room doctors would show up to work and either would say, "It's going to be a quiet day," and actually use the Q word. And then on a different day, they would come in and use a placebo word, and they would see and study if incidents in the emergency room would be increased when you say it's going to be a quiet day. We kind of made it a joke today to say that it was quiet, and it indeed ended up being a very quiet day. We did not get any rapid response calls to respond to. We didn't get any code blues. We only got 2 admissions and we were open for 5. So indeed, it was a very quiet day. We actually spent some of that time doing a wellness walk. The VA actually has like about a 1-mile radius of walking path that we can go on, and we ended up walking together as a group. Throughout the VA campus, there's actually these little exercise stations, so we had a little bit of fun doing that, and my attending can do a 1-armed pull-up. I guess he climbs outside of working, so it was fun to bond with the entire group. Our group was pretty big today for a Saturday. We had a pre-med student who is applying to med school at age 34. That's just awesome. Kudos to her. Part of being an older medical student and non-traditional is that I feel like those students who are coming and shadowing often connect with the entire team really well. They have a lot of life experience and they're easy to talk to, so we had a lot of fun getting to know her, and I think she really added to our group dynamic today. And then of course we have our 2 med students. There's 2 of us interns, a senior, and our attending. So it was kind of a big group for a Saturday. Anyways, I want to get home so I can eat dinner. Usually I don't end up getting dinner here. We also ended up ordering as a group some Chipotle for lunch. That was nice. We had the med student go pick it up for us. Good times. All right, I need to get home because guess what? I am back here for post-call tomorrow. That means we don't take any admissions tomorrow. My attending actually wants us to do discovery rounds, or something he calls disco rounds. That just means that we show up at 7 a.m. We don't pre-chart and we don't pre-round on our patients. We just get together with him and go on our walking rounds all together. So I think we'll end rounds pretty early and I'll get done with work probably before 11 a.m. So that will be a win for a Sunday, and I will see you guys then. I'm gonna go home and try to eat some dinner because I don't eat dinner usually on these long days. Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day. I am back here way too soon, about 20 minutes to 7 at the VA, post-call shift, no admissions. There are not a lot of perks to working the weekend, but I will say that not having to deal with traffic on the way to work, my commute is 30 minutes, and that's pretty nice. There's also so much parking. I'd say those are the only 2 perks of working the weekend. Actually, that's a lie. Not a lot of social work that we're dealing with. Basically, nothing happens at the VA on the weekends because most people are off on the weekends. Patients don't typically come in on the weekends to the emergency room, so typically on Mondays we have really busy days. All right, let's go in and get the work done. It's only 10:24 and I am already done with my post-call shift. I only had 3 patients to see this morning, one of which got discharged, and I just have the 2 patients left on my list. We are on, I believe, mid-call tomorrow. I think it's mid-call. So I get to go home and work from home. Basically, if I get any calls from the nurses for my 2 patients that are still at the hospital, then I will put in those orders and answer any of their questions. Though I'm hoping, knock on wood, that there won't be a lot of issues and that all the orders that need to be there are already there and they won't need me. And hopefully I can get some stuff done at home. I think it's pretty rare to have a day like this, so I'm going to take it, go home, spend time with my husband. It is a Sunday and he has the day off, so I get to spend a little bit of time with him. I also can catch up with some of my own errands. We are trying to get ourselves ready to move, and now it's officially 4 weeks from the time that our stuff will all get picked up by U-Haul. I will do a series on moving and all of my tips for moving once I figure out what the best tips are, and I'll also let you guys know how much it costs me to move across the country for residency. All right, let's get home. Definitely one of the perks of residency is that I get to leave sometimes very, very early when I'm done with my work. Good morning. It is Monday morning and I am on mid-call today, meaning that we admit patients from noon to 3 p.m. I have a new senior. I've heard she's really great, so I'm excited to work with her. But look what I woke up to. I've been accepted to the YouTube Partner Program, finally. The YouTube Partner Program just means that I can start monetizing my channel. To be accepted to the YouTube Partner Program, you need 1,000 subscribers and you need 4,000 watch hours. Just because you're accepted into the YouTube Partner Program doesn't mean that you can actually monetize via ads. Part of my social media journey is to just be as transparent with everyone as possible. Being part of the YouTube Partner Program doesn't mean that you're going to start getting paid via ads. It's a super exciting milestone. I have been posting on YouTube since I believe 2020 when I started medical school. I have 29 videos up that are public. From when I started posting in 2020, I posted as a medical student, former registered nurse, and I might have posted for a couple of months before I stopped and just focused on medical school. And I basically stopped being on any social media for 4 years while in medical school. Then when I started my intern year last year, I started my Instagram, RNtoMD Lily, to encourage RNs to pursue medical education. And then I revived my YouTube channel in the last couple of months. I was pretty aggressive about filming and putting out 2 videos a week. I did that for 1 month, and then now I'm doing about 1 video per week. And that's been pretty sustainable for me. I think it's a great platform for me to be able to get information out to registered nurses who want to apply to medical school or really any other non-traditional student with a lot of clinical background. I love Instagram as a platform for also reaching my audience, but YouTube allows me to have long form content and be able to speak more broadly about things and in more depth, which I think my information that I'm trying to share requires just a little more time to speak about it. But it's a very exciting milestone for me, and I hope that I could continue posting, take you guys all on my journey throughout finishing my intern year and starting my radiology residency in a new city. I'm super excited for all the things to come in my future, and I hope that I can take the time to share that all with you on this platform. Thank you for following me and allowing this to happen. It's all because of your views, you watching this, and you being interested in this content that allowed me to hit this milestone. So I'm super grateful for you to be here and watching this video.